fat fried. Deep fat fried. Deep fat fried. Deep fat fried.
Hello, welcome to another tedious episode of Deep Fart Fuck, or whatever the fucking shit this show's called.
Be well. I hope that both of you will be well.
Be well?
Be well.
Why don't you take your be well and shove it up your fat fucking ass, Paul?
What is a man but what he conceives himself to be?
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
Paul's getting deep.
You got an answer for
Getting
that?
deep. I was born deep.
Getting deep there, Paul.
Proving yet again that I am the deep in Deep Fat Fried.
Mm-hmm.
People always say you're the fat.
I know. TJ's obviously the fat.
Yeah,
the
I
belching fucking nugget chomping piece of shit.
Belgian nugget jumping piece of shit, motherfucker, yeah!
I'm definitely fine with being fried.
You're the fried and fat fried fuck face. Fuck. Bitch. God. I don't like it.
Who are you?
I don't give a fuck, bitch.
I didn't even hit you.
You're hot trash, Scotty.
You shot your little fucking
You're
straw
a
wrapper at
burning
me.
pile of goddamn garbage.
Headphone block
Boo.
you can't hit me,
Boo,
bitch.
Scotty, boo.
Can't fucking hit me.
You know what? We ain't doing your episode. We're going to watch Rhinestone again.
I'm down.
What you think about that?
Like a rhinestone cowboy.
Go ahead. Put Rhinestone on, teacher.
Maybe I will.
He's calling your bluff.
Maybe I fucking will. I'm too lazy. I don't feel like it. Let's do your stupid fucking episode, you miserable sack of garbage.
Fair enough, teacher.
This is Trump. Trump.
Looks like he's making a fart noise.
Calm down, TJ. Calm down. Is that the best you can do?
I don't know.
Try
Is
again.
it?
Try again, TJ.
What was wrong with it? Give me criticism. Constructive
Didn't
criticism.
go long enough. It wasn't loud enough. Wasn't verbose enough.
I was trying to do some variance in it, like some peaks and valleys in the fart.
Whatever, dude. You can't even do it like. Sounds like a lawnmower. No. Yeah, see now at the end you did better. Initially, almost it sounded like just like some lawnmower was outside your fucking door.
Well, that's what the Trump fart sounds like. It sounds like a goddamn lawnmower.
That was the worst fart I've ever heard. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of that fart, TJ. This is the goddamn most listless fart I've ever heard.
Well, I'm sorry my fart didn't fucking meet your goddamn standards, Paul.
Didn't meet either of our standards, TJ. Just disappointed with you, man.
I think the audience loved that fart.
Maybe they do. I can't.
I
say
think
what
the
they like.
people. I think that was a fart of the people.
Wrong.
Yep.
Why think Donald Trump here is so offended, TJ?
I don't know.
In a world with right-wing demagogues like Donald Genius Trump, or crazy communists like Bernie, I love the Soviet Union, Sanders, we have come to see the extreme sides of politics. The extreme sides of politics, TJ. Yeah. But there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
And now there is. Proudly introducing the centrist candidates.
Woo!
Woo!
Centrism. Centrism.
Klobuchar.
Oh, yeah.
As I like to call them booty char.
When our powers combine, we are Captain Centrist.
Why make substantive changes or reforms when you can maintain what you already have?
Oh, so incremental.
But
Oh.
TJ, that's not all. If you act now, we will throw in a multitude of bland and uninspiring candidates absolutely free.
Sick.
And of course, TJ, our candidates must meet the highest of standards.
Yes.
This is why we stand behind all of our candidates with our billionaire seal of approval.
Hell yeah.
All our candidates must
good
be
enough for billionaires,
Yeah.
good enough for me.
must be a billionaire or backed by them.
Sweet.
And TJ, don't worry. If you find your chosen candidate isn't bought and paid for, we promise to rig election or primary. It's just our way of saying things.
I love it. I love it, Scotty.
Why take the road less traveled, TJ, when you can take the well-worn path?
TJ is Scotty's muse.
I
He
misuse.
directs every episode at TJ. Like, I'm here to learn you, TJ.
It's a good scheme. So we're putting up Klobuchar versus Buttigieg today, right?
Yes.
That's what's going on here. We're gonna see who's the centristy of the centrists.
And the score system, you may notice, it's probably familiar to you.
We're gonna measure them in Delaney's. That's cool.
The God Emperor himself.
So it's like we're gonna do it like if we the three of us have to vote on who gets the Delaney for each category. Is that how it's gonna work? Basically,
That's how it's going to work.
Okay, so what's the categories? Looks and life, fundraising, policies, blunders, gaffes, and mishaps.
That actually
Whose
got
website is more
actually got
vague,
changed.
vapid, and verily I say
So Ari and
full of
Error,
shit.
that should be changed to controversies.
Okay,
whatever.
controversies, whatever. So I noticed one thing you did that I don't. You have how many categories? There's 5 categories.
Yes.
Usually we do 7. So you kind of fucked the process already.
Well, that had to be an odd number.
No. When you couldn't get it to 7, 7's an odd number last I checked.
It was already pretty long.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know what, Scotty? Fuck you.
All right.
That's it. That's it. I don't have nothing else. Just fuck you.
Can't argue with that.
I mean, what can I say?
I don't have no long, clever diatribe against you. Just fuck you, Scotty.
You know what, Scotty? Well, just fuck you, bitch. Huh?
Yeah.
You gonna cry?
You gonna cry, Scotty? You gonna cry, you little bitch?
No, I'm fine.
All right.
Okay.
So first category,
looks in life.
looks and life. All right, let's
We're
get
gonna
to
start
it.
with our friend Petey.
Oops. Wrong fucking thing.
What you doing,
God
TJ?
damn it.
Wrong
Fucking
again.
Go to the damn image I tell you to go to. This is it.
This is it.
It's a shit stain.
What
What
was that duty stain?
It was shit. We know what it was.
He had some explanation, but I didn't bother reading it 'cause in my
He
mind.
said it was a gnat that he squashed.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was
That don't
a-
look like no damn gnat. That's booty juice.
I agree
Booty
with
juice
you.
on the booty judge.
So she's going to look at Pete's early life. Early life and family.
This fucking rat fuck piece of degenerate shit.
You guys are going to like when you find out what booty judge means. I'm going to have you guys guess.
Oh, I know what it means. It means judging the booty.
Oh, maybe. The only child to parents Joseph and Jennifer Buttigieg,
Cool.
Peter Paul Montgomery Buttigieg, was born on January 19th, 1982.
Wait a minute. His full name is Peter Paul Montgomery Buttigieg.
Yes.
gross.
That's fucking awesome. He should go by that.
And raised in South Bend, Indiana.
Dude, he should totally go by Montgomery. I think he'd be
Montgomery.
I think he'd be pulling at least 5 points higher if he went by Montgomery.
Have a bigger poll, maybe.
I am Montgomery Buttigieg, and I'm here to marginally change America.
Maybe if he was like a Southern Democrat for the 19th century, sure.
I think you should go for that.
The plantation owner?
Yeah.
I think so? Okay. His father immigrated from Malta.
I'm going to give the slaves every third Saturday off.
Thank you, TJ.
Yeah.
His father immigrated from Malta while in college. Although he studied to be a Jesuit priest, Joseph ended up as a literature professor at the University of Notre Dame for nearly 3 decades.
He was a Marxist, by the way.
Buttigieg's mother, Jennifer, is a linguist and hails from Indiana. Like her husband, Jennifer taught at the University of Notre Dame. That's one of the words you go back and forth on. As a professor for almost 3
Notre
decades.
Dame. Baby Buttigieg.
Let's see baby Buttigieg, TJ.
Baby
This
Judge.
is baby judge.
He looks exactly like he does now.
Yep.
In baby form.
Would just put a 5 o'clock shadow on that baby, and it's him.
His mom looks like she just went through the struggle of giving birth to him.
Mom's
before this
kinda
picture
hot,
was
though.
taken.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, she's got kind of a Little House on the Prairie hotness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his dad looks like a fucking more perverted version of like a young Christopher Lloyd.
You think so?
Yeah. I dig it.
So what do you guys think booty judge roughly translates to in English?
I think
Fart sniffer.
Yeah, I already guessed. Judge of the booty.
Lord of the Poultry.
Lord of the Poultry.
Lord of the Poultry.
He's the Chicken King.
I am the Chicken King.
Perhaps he has set his sight
I
on...
can do anything.
Yeah, but perhaps he set his sight on a larger flock, TJ.
Oh. Well, we should definitely elect him president then. There's certainly plenty of chickens in this fucking country.
So the child of 2 college professors, Buttigieg excelled academically. I knew you guys were gonna love this.
Episode over. Buttigieg wins.
I want to pick on this kid so bad. Oh, I want to bully this kid.
I know this kid, dude.
Oh, I want to bully
I
this
remember
kid
this
so
kid in
bad.
school.
I know,
Oh.
dude. I had total 90s, like, flashbacks. I'm like, oh, I remember this kid. This, like,
This
the
is like
pompous,
the-
annoying, like, I'm the smartest kid at the school.
I have the best trapper keeper of anyone.
Pretty much. And he had
God,
the
no.
academic accolades to prove this, TJ.
Okay.
He was his high school's valedictorian.
Awesome. Yeah, good. Cool.
He went to Harvard as well.
He matriculated
Oh, sorry.
to Harvard Scholar.
Sorry,
He matriculated.
I was trying to paraphrase TJ, but that's fine. After graduating in 2004,
Why would you pass up an opportunity to say matriculated?
Because I probably would have fucked it up.
Yeah, you probably would have. What was the word you fucked up last night? I didn't even call you on it. I should have called you on it.
I don't remember now. I
Well, you didn't- I didn't-
I do it so often that it's kind of hard to keep
God
track.
damn you son of a bitch. Whatever, go ahead.
So after graduating in 2004, he became a Rhodes Scholar at the University of Oxford and graduated with a BA in philosophy, politics, and economics.
Cool. Good for him. Good
Yeah.
for him. He's got a college picture
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Fucking graduated, dude.
Graduate.
I think
Cool.
this actually looks like it's in the U.S. though, so it's probably not his Oxford days.
Okay. Okay.
So during his college years, Buttigieg got involved in politics on the state level and was later employed as director of a consulting firm in Washington, D.C. Post-college, he worked on John Kerry's presidential campaign in 2004 and for another consulting firm, McKinsey & Company in Chicago. And he's also a polyglot. Do you know what that is, TJ?
Nope.
Means he speaks multiple languages.
Okay.
Besides his native English, Buttigieg has fluency in several additional languages. Italian, Maltese, Spanish, Dari Persian, Arabic, French, and Norwegian. The last one being self-taught.
I saw him speaking Spanish at an event, and he kind of like short-circuited halfway through and like forgot how to speak Spanish. So I don't know how fucking fluent he really is in these languages.
Well, his mom was a linguist, too, so it's not much of a stretch to believe he at least has some aptitude for language.
She was a cunning linguist. Sorry.
Whoa.
Is his mom still alive?
Yeah, I
I
believe
want
so.
to hit up that woman. She's looking
Damn, Paul.
goddamn good.
She's looking fine. Bitch looking like a snack.
Paul's kind of the gilf thing going on.
Gilf. Paul always liked them old bitches. Here's another bitch you can fuck, Paul.
Here they me.
How'd you like to wake up next to that shit, Paul?
Looking like a double wide surprise.
Oh, yeah. Super sci-fi.
So Amy Jean Klobuchar was born on May 25th, 1960 in Plymouth, Minnesota. Almost every time I read that, I almost want to say Plymouth fucking Rock, dude, but I stopped myself.
She is Plymouth Rock.
Her mother was an elementary school teacher, while her father was a sports writer for the Star Tribune, the largest paper in Minnesota.
Okay.
I don't know why that's added this part. She has a younger sister.
Big
Thank you,
deal.
worthless
Who
biography.
gives a fuck?
Want to see Baby Klob?
Not really.
Klob!
Wow, she actually looks like she was a human being at that point. Wonder when the humanity was sucked out of her.
I don't know. That looks like one of those babies that you have to pretend isn't ugly. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, she's so cute.
It's called a face only a mother could love.
Yeah.
Yeah, she don't look whatever.
So, what you think you...
I mean, I don't really... I've seen uglier babies.
Well, I'm not saying she's the ugliest baby ever, but would you say she's a cute baby here?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because she's doing that, like,
I mean, it's
squinty eye thing
It's
going on.
subjective, of course.
But you know what? People did say in that poll that they actually thought... They actually wanted to fuck Klobuchar over Elizabeth Warren, so...
Yeah, well...
Which I don't get, because to me, she looks, as an adult, fucking completely hideous, so...
I agree with you. Klobuchar's parents divorced when she was 15. She has publicly shared about her past contentious relationship with her father due to his alcoholism, and that he later made amends after he stopped drinking.
I will say this for her, as far as her life goes, it is probably more reflective of, like,
A
the
normal
average
life.
American person.
Yes.
Whereas Pete Buttigieg's is like, I was born with the silver spoon. you know?
Clearly. Very clear there. Excellent in academics, Klobuchar was valedictorian of her high school as well.
Everyone's
They're
valedictorians.
both valedictorians. So that's a common thread there.
And then she went to Yale.
Yeah, she went to Yale. Graduated in
She
1982.
matriculated.
She studied political science, by the way.
Cool.
After receiving her BA, she was accepted at the University of Chicago to study law and graduated in 1985. So both very accomplished people, just the early parts of
There
their
she
life.
is. Whoa. Is she at a Renaissance festival? What's going on?
I know,
What's
right?
this look on her face?
She's doing like a fucking Leonardo da Vinci cosplay or something.
I will swallow your soul.
Oh, she'll swallow something.
You sexist piece of shit. Just because she's a woman.
I know. That's all I expect from you this episode, sexism.
Sexism and vile,
Well, homophobia,
disgusting
too.
commentary.
Homophobia, too.
Yeah. Yeah, you damn right, bitch.
Damn right, I'm an equal opportunity asshole.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Now we're going to go back to Petey, TJ.
All right.
Oh, it's a nice one here.
Wow, how warm.
Gross.
As a
Disgusting.
supporter and volunteer of Barack Obama.
Can we just stop pretending this is okay? This is disgusting, is what this is.
It's perfectly fine, TJ. As a
I think we
supporter-
skipped a picture, actually, though, because there's supposed to be one of him in the military here.
Yeah, oh, actually, we did.
Oops. Yeah.
Military.
I'm a military
No,
man.
no matter how many times I see this image, I cannot be intimidated by Pete Buttigieg.
Nor should you be, because apparently his military service basically consisted of him. I mean, he knew already he wanted to be a politician at this point. So
This is very calculated.
He fucking did like this, like basically pageantry of military service.
He was in the reserves.
Right.
That's like basically like you go to basic training, you do that kind of stuff, you do your specialization, and then after that, it's kind of just like one weekend a month. So he supported Barack Obama. He enlisted in the military in 2007. 2 years later, he became a U.S. Reserve officer. He was an officer. While serving his first term as the mayor of South Bend in 2014, was deployed to Kabul, Afghanistan, where he took part in the Afghanistan Threat Finance Cell, which aimed to disrupt the financial systems of terrorist organizations. Buttigieg came out as gay in 2015 and was reelected with
Whoa.
over 80% of the vote, TJ.
Damn it. There it is.
Oh,
There he is.
and
So
that is
sweet.
his husband.
Look at him. He should be grabbing his ass. Grabbing that ass.
You're going to really like this next part, TJ.
Oh, is it going to be him grabbing that ass? No. Okay.
That's what he did in 2017. In January 2017, Buttigieg announced his candidacy for chair of the Democratic National Committee in his 2017 chairmanship election. He built a national profile as an emerging dark horse in the race for the chairmanship with the backing of former DNC chairman Howard Dean, former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley.
Martin O'Malley. I remember
Yes.
that fucking loser.
Yeah, I think he briefly tried to compete against Bernie and Hillary in 2016.
He did. It was
Indiana's-
hilarious.
Indiana Senator Joe Donnelly, North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp.
Yeah.
Buttigieg campaigned on the idea that the aging Democratic Party needed to empower its millennial members. So that's something you can agree with, Paul.
Not really. Who wants to empower the millennials?
Well, then you say that we need younger people in politics?
We need the people between millennials and boomers.
Oh, okay.
Those are the right age.
So Generation X then?
Yeah, me.
Oh,
My age.
how convenient.
How convenient.
Of course, he did not end up winning. Former U.S. Secretary of Labor Tom Perez and U.S. Representative Keith Ellison quickly emerged as the favored candidates. Buttigieg withdrew from the race on the day of the election without endorsing a candidate, and Perez was eventually elected.
Okay. Cool.
So he's a loser, is what
He's
you're
a
telling
fucking
me.
loser.
He's a fucking loser. Oh, is he giving him a hand job behind the podium?
He is.
He is? Oh, no. Well, I can see both his hands. Never mind. But they're rubbing dicks. Maybe they're docking. You guys know what docking is?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they kind of are.
I think they're docking, dude.
So this
Is
already
that
kinda
homophobic?
Yes.
It is.
Okay. Sorry.
So it already kind of shows you the savvy.
Is it homophobic if I like it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You're still homophobic, too.
All right.
You're like the dude from American Beauty, the repressed guy.
Okay. Sorry.
I said repressed.
Repest.
So Buttigieg launched his campaign for 2020 United States presidential election on April 14, 2019, TJ. He became the first openly gay person to launch a major presidential campaign. Despite initially low expectations, TJ, he gained significant momentum in mid-2019 when he participated in several town halls, forums, and debates.
Wow.
Buttigieg narrowly
Inspiring.
won the pledged delegate count in the Iowa caucuses and tied the pledged delegate count in the New Hampshire primary.
He did not win.
He is the
Iowa.
first openly
That's
gay
bullshit.
candidate to earn a presidential primary delegates from a major American political party.
Wow, that's amazing. But he didn't win in Iowa. That's bullshit.
I really love like how they've tried to kind of like build this kind of it's grassroots, but look at this, and this is his announcement. This is the very first time he's like, you know what? Like he already has a fucking taxi number up. He has this big sign behind him. He has these supporters. He has the teleprompters. He has all the trimmings of a major political machine.
More like
behind him.
ass roots, am I right? Yeah? Yeah, you guys suck.
What about Amy? What was she doing, TJ?
I don't know. Sucking a dick.
Probably. In 2006, she won her first Senate campaign by 20 points to become Minnesota's first woman senator.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Damn.
6 years later, when Republicans swept elections across the country, she won re-election with 65% of the vote,
Not bad.
and even won conservative rabble-rouser Michelle Bachmann's district.
Oh, dissed.
Her 2018 election bid wasn't really considered a true contest.
Okay.
So it was like, she's basically now, she's at that point a third-term senator. There's not even questioning.
Right. She's just being,
She's anointed.
yeah. It's just like a coronation at this point.
She's now the top senator of the Rules Committee. She played a big role in making changes so Senator Tammy Duckworth, Illinois, the first senator to give birth while holding office, could bring her newborn onto the Senate floor. Oh, how heartwarming.
I mean, that seems good, right?
No.
Why not?
No. We don't need, have you ever sat next to a newborn on a plane? You want our national business being done with that screeching bullshit going off in your ear? Get a babysitter.
I mean, it's not my ear.
Well, it's the ears of the people that are making decisions for you.
Here she is sitting next to a rapist.
But before Klobuchar's Minnesota colleague Al Franken stepped down from his Senate seat amid allegations of sexual misconduct,
That was the stupidest step down ever, by the way.
Klobuchar was just known as the other Minnesota senator. So basically, she had, compared to Al Franken, no profile.
She was in the shadow of Al Franken.
Well, I mean, it's hard. I mean, he was famous before.
That's why she set him up. That's why she's all like, we need to fucking Photoshop him grabbing a titty. Get him out of there so I'm the star of the show.
And her big national moment came during Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's Senate testimony about sexual assault allegations against him. Klobuchar, who sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee, got personal. Her father, at age 90, is still in Alcoholics Anonymous, and she told then-nominee she wanted to know if Kavanaugh had ever blacked out from drinking. And we have actually the clip.
All right. Here's the clip.
People have done some drinking in high school and college, and many people even struggle with alcoholism and binge drinking. My own dad struggled with alcoholism most of his life, and he got in trouble for it, and there were consequences. He is still in AA.
Oh, my God. Why can she fucking get through a goddamn sentence
loves
without crying?
She loves the bloviate.
Kavanaugh looks like the one that's about to start crying, though.
But it's in her voice.
Yeah, she does have that breaky
Every
voice.
time she fucking talks.
just-
like,
She just has that voice. I listen to her speak a ton, obviously doing the research for this, and that's how she kind of talks.
That's that's the leader that I want. The one that sounds like they're on the verge of tears constantly.
I don't know.
Age 90, and he's sober. And in his words, he was pursued by grace, and that's how he got through this. So in your case, you have said here and other places that you never drank so much that you didn't remember what happened. But yet, we have heard, not under oath, but we have heard your college roommate say that you did drink frequently. These are in news reports, that you would sometimes be belligerent. Another classmate said it's not credible for you to say you didn't have memory lapses. So drinking is one thing.
I actually don't think that's the second quote's correct. On the first quote, if you wanted, I provided some material that's still redacted about the situation with the freshman year roommate, and I don't really want to repeat that in a public hearing, but just so you know, there were 3 people in a room, Dave White, Jamie Roach, and me, and it was a contentious situation where Jamie did not like Dave White at all, and I mean this.
Okay.
So Dave White came back from home one weekend, and Jamie Roach had moved all his furniture out into the courtyard.
Okay.
So he walks in, and so that's your source on that. So there's some old.
Drinking is one thing.
And there's much more. Look at the redacted portion of what I said. I don't want to repeat that in a public hearing.
I will. Could I just ask one more question?
Redacted information about that.
Okay. Drinking is one thing, but the concern is about truthfulness. And in your written testimony, you said sometimes you had too many drinks. Was there ever a time when you drank so much that you couldn't remember what happened or part of what happened the night before?
No, I remember what happened, and I think you've probably had beers, Senator, and so
you're saying there's never been a case where you drank so much that you didn't remember what happened the night before or part of what happened?
You're asking about, blackout. I don't know. Have you?
Could you answer the question, Judge? That's not happened. Is that your answer?
Yeah, and I'm curious if you have.
I have no drinking problem, Judge.
Yeah, nor do I.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, what a
I know.
what a claim to fame. What a powerful exchange.
And like,
really
so,
fucking
so this is how this,
stirring stuff really got to the
this
depths
is the
of my
media-
fucking being.
But I have to tell you the media spin on this because this is how the media spin it.
Oh God, really? There was a spin on this. This is.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
An angry Kavanaugh turned the question back on her. Klobuchar, shocked, responded directly that she didn't have a drinking problem, prompting Kavanaugh to later apologize for his behavior in front of the Senate panel. Klobuchar accepted and moved on, cementing the moment as one of the most memorable exchanges in the confirmation hearings.
Okay.
And to me, if that's one of the most memorable moments, that was like a very like, well, no, I wasn't blacked out. Were you? No. I mean, that's nothing. The New York Times and the New Yorker named Klobuchar as the woman most likely to become the first female president of the United States, and MSNBC and the New Yorker named her as a possible nominee for the U.S. Supreme Court. They just love her. Oh, she's great. She could be the Supreme Court. She could be president. She could be anything.
Why?
I don't know. On February 10th, 2019, Klobuchar announced her candidacy in the 2020 Democratic Party presidential primaries. She said that she uses humor as one way to distinguish herself amongst the many other Democratic candidates in the 2020 campaign.
This is so painful.
We have to do it. So this
This
is an
is so
example
bad.
Here's an example of her making a funny.
There's some funny jokes.
The president actually sent out a tweet. He made fun of me for talking about climate change in the middle of a blizzard, and he called me Snow Woman. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard.
So let's just pause it. That is a terrible joke.
Yes.
It's not funny, whatever. I mean, maybe in the venue, it's like, I'm going to make a little mild jab at Donald Trump. But she just goes, it's
So
just
I wrote
everywhere she goes, she
back,
does it.
hey, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard.
Blizzard.
Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard.
Killing it! She's killing it! Oh, no, it keeps going, TJ.
I know it does.
If you haven't noticed, you use a little humor. Like when he called me Snow Woman at my announcement in the middle of that thing.
The setup for my terrible
I wrote
joke.
back on Twitter, I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump. So I wrote back. I tweeted back. The science is on my side.
All right, that's enough of this.
And I'd like to see how your hair would fare. And I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard.
That's enough, TJ. Stop it.
And I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. Mr. Umbrella Man.
It's like such.
no.
It's such bad acting. And there's someone that's trying to come across as like, I'm from the heartland.
I can't.
It's a shitty clapback too. It's not even great. Like, why did she keep like?
Oh man.
I don't know. So our last little bit about her for her biography is on January 19, 2020, the New York Times editorial board endorsed both Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren for president. And that's the image they used for Klobuchar.
Oh God.
So it's time to decide who gets a Delaney. Looks in life.
So I have a question about this. So like when we're talking about looks in life, like am I trying to give it to like whoever, like who might get like who's better, who's more centrist, or like what's the standard?
This is the battle of the bland, TJ.
So who's blander?
Who's the more bland, polished, insipid politician? Do you feel?
Klobuchar?
Yeah, I tend to agree. Unfortunately, as much as I hate Pete Buttigieg, he's got a more interesting story than Amy Klobuchar does.
Klobuchar it is. She
Delaney it.
she earns the first.
Well, which
Delaney.
one's which? Because I mean, we got a fucking
you can put Pete in the first one and Amy in the second one.
Pete, yeah, Amy, yeah, and Amy gets the Delaney.
She gets the Delaney.
Yeah, bitch.
I almost want to do away with the system where we awarded the category just so we can give her 1,000,000 Delaney's, but whatever. We can do that at the end. If we want.
Yeah, we can just assume that every Delaney is worth
You have to earn your Delaney.
Yeah, you gotta
a
earn it.
million Delaney's or something.
Let's go to fundraising, TJ.
Okay,
Let's go to Mayor Pete.
Mayor Pete.
Pete for America. So how much has Pete raised? Let's see. Total raise, we go down a little bit here, TJ. He's raised about $75 million.
What's the hitting home pact? Or pack? Up on the graph there.
Looks like a pack that's virtually raised no money.
Yeah, I don't know.
$6,000.
Who knows?
So this day's data report is from December 31st, 2019. So look here, large contributions. Huh. It's very interesting. $42 million. But small individual contributions. Can't say there's nothing. There's $33 million there, about 44%. No financing, no federal funding.
What's other? Where's the 81,000 other dollars come from?
Other.
Ooh, I don't know.
It comes from other.
There's
Paul.
like medium contributions or what?
Other.
Other. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know what other means in this context.
Hey, he hasn't dumped any of his own money into this, though.
That's good. Because you go to the top, TJ, and we can look at more of a breakdown as well.
Over here?
Okay, so we can look by geography. So where are people giving this money from? Usually it's going to be California is number one. Yep. California, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, other states. California has a huge percentage of his fundraising.
Okay. Industries.
Retired.
The retirees like him?
Yeah. Lawyers, law firms love him.
I like that clean-cut queer.
Securities investments, health professionals. He runs the gamut. Internet, printing and publishing.
Real estate.
The next one, please, TJ.
Contributors.
So these are from
Google.
So here's the thing here. The money came from the organization's PACs, their individual members, employees, or owners, and the individual members' immediate families. So it's not just like, hey, Alphabet's giving you all this money. But Alphabet is his top contributor. Microsoft, interesting there. University of California. Paul Weiss, which I'm guessing that's probably a law firm or something. Walt Disney, AT&T, Sullivan and Cromwell, Amazon, Kaiser Permanente, Apple Inc., Wells Fargo. Hey, the company he used to work for, McKinsey & Company, gave him some money. Harvard, hey, he was a student there. Comcast Corp. Hey, where his parents went to school. University of Notre Dame. U.S. government. So a lot of these people and people are part of these organizations. Some you can understand. Obviously, he's from that area, so he's going to get
Jonah
there.
demographics.
Ooh, the men love him. Ain't
Yeah,
getting as many-
he loves the men.
We'll see a breakdown of his donors here. Got a lot of 5,600 plus donors.
Male donors, female donors. I want to know who gave. I want to know when it comes to this here, 5,600. Looks like the men are about twice the amount of women. That's kind of neat.
Let's see outside. Was there any outside spending going on for Pete? Not really.
Okay. Expenditures. Media 6.7.
Salaries just as
6.7.
much. Administrative.
Administrative 5.2. Fundraising 3.6. Unclassifiable 3.2. All other 1.8.
And there's not enough of this.
Okay.
Let's give you an idea of where Pete's money's coming from.
Ah, look at this. The wine cave.
Beautiful.
I love it.
I've attended many such dinners myself.
This is where we meet.
And
to
unfortunately
talk about fun.
for his campaign, now people weren't allowed to be there the entire time, but this is a photo from when the press was allowed in. You know, obviously this is where the infamous.
At some point, they
image
kicked the press out. They're like, "Get out!" When you talk about rich people shit now.
Did you get to drag Pete deeper into the cave and butt fuck him at this event?
depends how much you paid.
That's
Okay.
That's extra.
Got it.
Extra, Paul.
Creep into Pete's wine cave.
Hell yeah.
I'm all up in that wine cave.
Pete's Wine Cave. Why Buttigieg's rivals are slamming his Napa fundraiser. Because it's like, because that's a slam dunk. Most Americans look at that and they're like, ugh, gross.
Well, I mean, it's buying access to Pete. That's essentially what this is.
I mean, they're doing the same thing, a lot of them, though. A lot of them are throwing these fucking charity dinners and, you know, or whatever, the fucking donation dinners. It's a pretty common thing. He just happened to have his in a wine cave.
Well, Warren and Sanders have refused to do those kind of events, basically just to avoid the PR that you get from stuff like this. And of course, Buttigieg, the spokesperson said, well, 90% of the campaign's donations are under $200. That's basically what that's the argument they're making. Look, this is how much we're raising most of our money from small donations, but if you just looked at what we saw, the number of large donations actually exceeds the number of small donations. Maybe this was true at this time, but definitely is not true any longer. I can move on to the next story to do. And then, of course, when in doubt, hide behind Obama.
Obama done it.
So this is a statement on this, following the criticism we just talked about.
I am following the same fundraising practices that President Obama did and that our leaders have.
There you go.
Okay. Well,
Obama did a wine cave.
maybe.
I don't know.
know.
Maybe he did.
He
I don't
could've.
know.
I'm sure he did a lot of the fundraising dinners, though.
Now, I know you guys are dying to fucking meet pizza billionaires. We got to meet them.
Yeah,
He's got a lot of them.
Which billionaires?
Oh, shit.
Where are they, Scotty?
Is it not there?
You fucking failed again, Scotty. All right, here. I'll pull it. From
Well, you
the
could
document.
say, look, dude, this article is written by Rebecca Klar.
Billionaire backers. Here are the billionaires backing Pete Buttigieg's presidential campaign. So here we go.
So that's how it breaks down. Finance and investments, 14. Diversified, all kinds of wealth, 5. Media and entertainment, technology, fashion, retail, food and beverage, real estate, service, gambling, casinos, healthcare. He runs the gamut.
So here's some of the specific ones. Len and Emily Blavatnik.
Net worth $19.6 billion. Source of wealth diversified. Size of donation $4,000.
Also supported Joe Biden. So they basically made a little down payment on him. They
Yeah.
didn't really fucking sink too much in it.
But look what they've also given money to. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, $248,000. McCarthy Victory Fund, $200,000. To support California Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy. Interesting.
Christopher McCown, husband of Abigail Johnson. Spouse's net worth $15.9 billion. Source of wealth, money management. Size of donation, $5,600. Also supported no one directly.
So Wendy Schmidt, wife of Eric Schmidt, $15.4 billion. Of course, it's Google, if everyone knows him.
Also
David
give-
Geffen, another very famous
yeah.
billionaire. Reed Hastings is on this list. Well, he's also the CEO of Netflix. A lot of people in entertainment back him. It just goes on and on and on and on, dude.
The
Yeah, so
billionaires.
$3.9 billion.
Jonathan Gray.
Damn,
Stryker.
John Stryker is that guy's name?
John Stryker.
Medical
Holy
equipment.
fuck.
It just goes on.
He's got
Yeah,
quite the
look at it.
collection of billionaires.
But that's not going to buy him. These people are not trying to buy any sort of influence. You know, also is a major supporter of Pete Buttigieg. I actually learned this doing the research. Seth MacFarlane, creator of Family Guy, American Dad. What's that other show? Do you like, TJ? The
Orville.
The Orville. Yep. He thinks Buttigieg is the
Buttigieg is the answer.
most intellectual, most intelligent guy in the room. He's like cuts. He's not really a politician. Kind of cuts through that. Well, Seth, explain how all these billionaires. Why do they support him if it's not business as usual? Maybe Seth knows something I don't know.
Yeah, he knows that he's rich. And he wants a guy who's a friend of the rich in power. What about Amy Klobuchar?
Let's take a look at her. So she hasn't raised as much money. Not as good at the fundraising game. Apparently.
Yeah, come on.
Sucks.
Come on, Amy.
Geography.
Boo.
Let's take a look at that.
Her top
Minnesota.
state is Minnesota. That's her home state. So.
Minnesota.
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 We like that Amy Klobuchar.
Also, a bunch of retirees. Like, yeah,
Yes.
I like the cut of her jib.
Let our old mummified, desiccated fucking will be done.
Hey, another Paul Weiss comes up again.
Kirkland and Ellis.
Just spreading the money around. Huh?
Wackdale, Lipton et al.
Medtronic. Yeah, they're gonna come up later in the episode because of something
Medtronic Inc.
Amy did for them.
Sure, it was nothing untoward.
I'm actually slightly more male, so maybe that explains the people that in our poll that wanted to fuck
Maybe.
Klobuchar more. They're like, hey, you know what? Because there's a slight. I mean, that's almost split by how the population is. But if you reversed it a little bit, if you inversed it, like 51% female. 49.
Yeah, I mean, it's close enough to be, pretty much the same.
Outside spending, salaries, 4.3. Media,
She's paying her people more.
Yeah, 2.9. Administrative, 2.5. Fundraising, 1.6. Strategy and research, 1. Well, it's basically 1.2.
Our major vendors are Rising Tide Interactive, probably just a political consulting company.
I'm not gonna run for fucking president, man. Look at all this money you could just disappear. Look at all this all other. That's just $1 million fucking dollars that for whatever. You know what I mean?
For other.
It
Spent
is
that
what
on,
it is.
Spent that on some other.
$1 million for other.
Now,
Yeah.
Klobuchar, too, she's got her list of billionaires. Not as impressive as old Pete's, but she's still got some.
Got some. Let's see what she's got.
I'll tell you how many she has first, TJ. So go up a little
let's see
bit.
how many she got.
Only 21. Only 21.
Lagging behind.
Lagging way behind.
Yeah, Michelle, Linda, Catherine.
It's funny how all these people have supported other candidates. It's like a lot of times they just spread this money. I'll give you some, I'll give you some.
Well, they want to have a little leg in with every fucking candidate.
She's got the lower end billionaires, too. I see a lot of like 2 billion, 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Like Pete had like the 15, 20 billionaires. You know
like
what I
Mark
mean?
Pincus, you're barely even a billionaire. Source of wealth online games. Get out of here. You're barely a billionaire.
Something else I found out about.
That's not a real billionaire.
About Klobuchar. Klobuchar raked in donations from chief executive officers from 11 of Minnesota's 25 largest corporations, according to the Star Tribune analysis of data from the 2017-2018 election cycle. Two of the CEOs, Scott wanted the snowmobile maker Polaris Industries and Stanley Hubert of Hubert Broadcasting, normally give their majority of their money to Republicans, but they gave to Klobuchar anyway.
Cool. That just shows she has cross appeal.
She has total cross appeal. Republicans love her. Democrats love her. Everyone loves her. You know, hey, with the Nevada caucus coming up, where's she at?
Your voice, your vote, and the push for the Nevada caucuses. The next contest for the Democratic presidential nomination is less than a week away.
One candidate looking to build momentum and build up her campaign funds is Amy Klobuchar. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell live in Beverly Hills, where she's wrapping up a big-ticket fundraiser.
The friend of the common people. I mean, her fundraiser in Beverly Hills.
A person for that fundraiser. But right now, Mark, we're in front of the Montage Beverly Hills because President Trump, he will also be in Beverly Hills now tomorrow to fundraise and receive an update on the 2028 LA Olympics.
They're so different. Totally different.
Nearly
Donald
2
Trump.
weeks from the California primary, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar made a stop in Beverly Hills Monday night to fundraise at the home of Jaws star and activist Lorraine Scheinberg. Klobuchar finished third in New Hampshire, but
I guess.
Oh.
And the article here, it says at the bottom, if you go to the bottom of this, TJ, it says how much did it cost to attend? Where is it at? Maybe it's not at the bottom here. Well, anyways, it was the minimum to attend this was $500. It says here, interviews got. It says that, but I've seen other sources that said that was the minimum amount.
Minimum. That's like to get the crappy seats.
Yeah, that's the fucking the nosebleed seats.
Dude, we got to get some seats at some of these, man. If you can get in for $500, we could pool together and get $500 and send one of us in there to talk shit to Amy Klobuchar to her face.
We should fucking hire. We should just get like a $500 plate and then just get it for like a crackhead or something.
Send a crackhead in.
Yeah, just put like a GoPro in on them. Send the crackhead in there.
I love it. It's a great idea.
Oh, dude, this is barely even scratching the surface.
Crackheads for Klobuchar.
Like with Buttigieg, another thing that I saw was interesting was how like they sent out there's this very controversial campaign email where it was like, if you want to get on the candidate's radar, you have to give more money. And of course they're like, well, yeah, I mean, you give more money, but you're supporting Pete, and it's not about saying access, or it's not going to say you're going to influence him, but just to have your issues brought to his concern, and let him know what you're thinking.
Which is basically selling access.
Yeah, which is basically selling access. Of course, there's always a spin they can do. And the Buttigieg campaign, even from his days in South Bend, you'll see they always have a spin on it. It's not just like, I mean, I think the main thing I learned about these two is that they're very good at always trying to put some sort of a spin on it. It's like, oh, I'm the moderating force. I'm this person that's always going to, reach across the aisle. I'm gonna work with other people. And Klobuchar's had success with that in terms of a number of bills and legislation she's seen passed. Actually, in fact, in the entire Congress, she's passed the most.
Let's just be honest here, though. As far as fundraising goes, I think Klobuchar loses this one because, I mean, Pete's just got he's got the better billionaires. He's got more billionaires.
He's got the higher end billionaires. She's having her fundraiser in the Jaws Stars home, and he's having his in a fucking wine cave with a tree growing down into it and shit, and a chandelier hanging off of it.
He's just better connected, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's got to win this round.
Wait a minute.
Gets a Delaney.
Getting a Delaney win? Because Amy lost because she had the least compelling story. So now she's winning? Now we need to hammer out what this Delaney is for, because I'm confused. Amy got a fucking Delaney because she sucked in the first round, and now Pete is better and he gets a Delaney?
Well, it's whoever's blander.
Who is the greater corporate centrist? And it's Pete Buttigieg.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
enough.
it's whoever's more centristy. Whoever we look at and is like, that's the more middle of the road.
And Pete has raised
bullshit.
more money. He's gotten more of those billionaire contacts. He even got fucking the creator of Family Guy on his side. He's the centrist for you, Paul.
Okay, fair enough.
So I mean, Delaney is winning, but winning this contest is losing.
Essentially,
So
yes.
that's how it works, basically.
I see.
Now we're going to go to policies.
Policies, huh? Do they even have any?
They purport to have policies.
Okay. Fair enough. Amy Klobuchar, policies, I guess. Let's see what she got. Consistently big. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So she wants to abolish the death penalty. Cool.
I agree.
I agree with that. Cash bail reform.
No, don't agree. Should get rid of
reform it.
Yeah.
No, it should be
Abolish
eliminated.
it.
Abolished. So she's wrong on that. Mandatory minimum sentences reform.
Agree.
Eliminate. Yep, that's good. Paper ballots. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems
I don't know if that's the best
fine.
way forward, honestly,
That's
but whatever.
It's better than what we got now.
I guess so.
So I guess I can kind of see it. Affordable housing, combination of construction funding and rent subsidies.
That sounds very middling.
Yeah, seems like nothing.
I don't know what that means exactly.
There might be more information if you click on it.
Let's see. A few candidates have called for a two-pronged approach, combining rent relief with efforts to increase construction. Senator Cory Booker's plan would give renters... Well, I want to know about Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar would expand the low-income housing tax credit to spur the construction of additional homes and increase investments in rural and Native American housing. She would boost funding for rental assistance programs, expanding the housing choice voucher programs for families with children, and create an emergency fund for renters through portable savings accounts.
She essentially wants to do nothing.
Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
A tax credit, and you can put some of your own money away that you don't have.
I may be too stupid to truly comprehend that plan, but
I don't think that's what
I
it
don't
is.
think it doesn't sound that great. Sorry, I look like I'm going up a little bit here.
Typical
minimum wage.
Everyone, pretty much everyone
raise
on
it
the
to
stage
50.
agrees
Okay,
that.
fair enough. Paid leave, support broad paid family leave and medical leave plans up to 12 weeks. Okay. Study.
Yeah, that's the most bullshit. Yeah.
Study it. Gotcha. Charter schools, support charter schools.
A lot of people don't like charter schools because
that's a pretty conservative sort of plan.
I mean, I got to be honest with you.
But,
in the current climate of failing public schools, I don't. How do you get around it without funding?
Well, let's see specifically what her plan is here. Blah, 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 blah. Amy Klobuchar said at an American Federation of Teachers Union forum in May that public schools are the mainstay of our education system, and if we do have charter schools, they have got to have high accountability standards or whatever.
I mean, it means nothing.
This is a bunch of meaningless politician drivel. Cost of college, 2 years should be free.
No.
Okay.
And only for community college.
Gotcha. Student debt, expand or fix existing debt relief programs.
Not going to be good enough and totally inadequate.
Teacher pay, boost teacher pay. Okay.
Just an empty campaign promise.
Campaign finance, unlimited spending should not be allowed in politics.
Wow, what a brave stance.
Electoral college should be eliminated. Okay. Nuclear power, support it. Oil and gas drilling, end new oil and gas leases on federal land and in offshore drilling. Reduce carbon emissions, impose government regulations. Farm economy, strengthen enforcement, but stop short of trust busting. What?
Let's click on that.
I'm curious about that position.
So if you go to the top, it kind of gives you an overview. So it says, most 2020 Democrats have not gone so far as to call for splitting up large agribusiness, instead advocating for stronger antitrust enforcement as a way to create more fair and competitive markets for farmers to consume.
So this is a middling way that allows these giant factory farms to continue gobbling up smaller producers. And
We already know what's going to happen. So, let's say that those regulations are even put into place. She's elected president. They put these regulations in place. The companies will simply ignore the regulations and later on come to a settlement with the government, paying a large fine, which is way less than they already actually profited, and changing nothing.
So basically, what Amy Klobuchar, in calling for tougher competition rules, argued that a new standard for approving mergers should shift the burden of proof to companies to show that the tie-up won't reduce competition. So basically, instead of breaking up existing monopolies, she's just like, let's try to stop new ones from forming.
And it's not even that either.
And it's just like,
it just provides a pathway for these people to continue doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
So basically nothing. Farming and climate change, pay farmers to adopt climate-friendly practices. Okay. Assault weapons, support a ban on assault weapons. Background checks in favor of universal
almost
background
every
checks.
candidate supports that.
Abortion, some limits.
Now, what are her limits?
Let's see what the fuck this is about.
Let's see. Does it actually even say?
Blah, 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 blah. Amy Klobuchar said there are limits there in the third trimester that are very important except for the health of the woman.
That's basically so she can kind of ride the fence where it's like, oh, I'm not always in favor of abortion.
Okay. Build on ACA's foundation.
Garbage.
Affordable Care Act. Garbage.
Total
solution.
fucking garbage.
Drug costs, importation, and patent breaking. What does that mean? In addition to backing Medicare negotiations and internal some candidates also support allowing the importation of medicines sold overseas at low costs.
Her platform is this. She wants to allow personal importation of drugs from Canada.
Personal importation? So basically, like, you can do it, but it's not like an official, like...
And she wants to let Medicare negotiate the price of drugs.
Okay, well, that's something, I guess. Medicare for all, opposes Medicare for all, but would expand coverage.
Bleh.
Go to shitville. DACA, Citizenship for Dreamers, fine. The wall, block additional wall funding.
No, she'll back additional wall funding and broader immigration.
Yeah.
So if it's a part of a fucking deal she likes, she'll build the wall.
Okay. Transportation, pay for infrastructure through changing taxation on corporations, the wealthy. Okay.
How so?
I don't know. Amy Klobuchar was first out of the gate with an infrastructure proposal she put forward as a centerpiece of her campaign, calling for a $1 trillion investment, $650 billion of which would come from federal funds in everything from traditional transportation infrastructure to green practices and clean water. Read more about her plan here. I don't have time, but I guess that doesn't sound terrible, but I'm sure there's probably a giant caveat somewhere.
But as you look many times, if you actually look who is pretty much on the same page or has similar views, it's Buttigieg.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I mean, it makes sense. Legalize marijuana.
I agree.
Cool. Scrapping past pot convictions. Cool. Slash defense budget.
Yeah, I like this. Slash the defense budget, but keep the troops deployed.
Keep them overdeployed. So just slash their funding, but keep them in harm's way. It sounds like a winning strategy. Capital gain. Increase the capital gains tax rate. Okay. Corporate income tax. Raise corporate taxes, but keep rates lower than before 2017.
So another middling proposal.
I mean, like, that seems to be most of her
Expand
positions.
the earned income tax credit.
She's definitely impressing me with her centrism in a lot of these fucking things.
Yeah.
Taxing the wealthy. Increase existing taxes on upper income Americans. Okay.
Now, this is one of her unique policy positions, which is
it?
online
Let's see.
privacy. No, not taxing the wealthy.
Okay.
The one below it. The online privacy.
Companies should be taxed for sharing user data.
I think we should take a look at that.
This is like one of her. Currently, no other candidates share this. So, Senator Amy Klobuchar, like other 2020 Dems, has called for Congress to enact stronger protections for consumers' personal information online, and even introduced her own data privacy legislation. She has also floated a more controversial proposal that would return some of the money tech companies make off consumer data to their users. The idea, known broadly as a data dividend or data tax, would see companies taxed by the government for sharing users' information. Those funds would then be returned to citizens. This just sounds like she's giving them permission to do this.
Yeah.
Right. She's just legitimizing.
It just seems like this seems like it legitimizes the practice
wholesale-
of fucking stealing data. So
Right.
Yeah,
fuck
so
that.
one such advocate, Center for Digital Democracy executive Jeffrey Chester, told Politico the plan would simply help companies, quote, bribe customers with a few pennies to trade away their digital rights and protections.
Yeah, so fuck that. The one thing she stands alone on is horrible. Rural broadband, looser broadband promises? What does that mean?
I'm not sure in that context.
Amy Klobuchar, a leader of the Senate Broadband Caucus, pledged to connect every household to the internet by 2022. Senator Cory Booker has promised unprecedented... Blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever.
So just more access.
Social media, we should consider holding companies legally liable for user posts. No, that's retarded.
How does that make any sense?
That's insane and retarded. Tech competition and antitrust, we need more investigations first.
We need to study the issue. Yeah.
I'm never impressed when they say we need to look into something. China, support the goal, change the approach. Okay. The most popular position is support Trump's overarching goal of taking on China while criticizing his dependence on tariffs, which critics say are economically harmful and have farmers on the front line of retaliation.
So she has no real position.
Donald Trump is treating farmers like poker chips in one of his bankrupt casinos. Senator Amy Klobuchar said at an Iowa audience of more than 100 farmers and agriculture
So
industry
she has no
members.
real plan.
It's just vague bullshit.
She supports the USMCA, which is
Right.
basically TPP 2.0.
Tariffs, use tariffs to crack down
And
on
yet
certain
again, she's
countries.
fine with tariffs as soon as it's convenient for her.
She's against Trump's tariffs, but other tariffs are
so
fine.
she would do probably the same thing.
Cool, good stuff. Okay, so that's her policy positions. Really centristy as fuck. Let's see Pete Buttigieg. Also abolish the death penalty. Stronger on cash bail reform. He's just like, end it. Just no more. It's stupid. It's unconstitutional. That's better. Mandatory minimum sentences reform.
Get rid of them.
Eliminate them.
Private prisons, eliminate them.
Eliminate
So
private prisons.
Already he seems more progressive than...
He does seem stronger on these issues, but that's not good for him in this contest. This is a contest of centrism.
I know. So combination of construction funding and rent subsidies, so he's the same as Klobuchar.
All right. Invest in workers and rural America.
I mean, that's just such a
empty
platitude.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Raise minimum wage, okay. Support family leave for 12, okay.
So they're all the same here.
Study reparations, okay.
Now, he's against for-profit charter schools.
Right. What's he say on this? Said, in general, charter school expansion in general is something that we need to really draw back on until we've corrected what needs to be corrected in terms of underfunded public education. His plan calls for banning for-profit charter schools and ensuring equal accountability for public charter schools. All right, seems like a...
So cost of college, students shouldn't have to take on debt.
What does that mean? They shouldn't have to take on debt.
Yeah, saying you shouldn't doesn't mean anything, really.
Blah, 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 blah.
Doesn't really outline it.
It doesn't really seem to mention what his thing is there. So.
Cancel some student debt.
Cancel some of it. Okay, good.
Boost teacher pay.
Half measures are always good. Boost teacher pay.
No fucking Democratic candidate is going to be like, less pay for teachers.
No. Campaign finance, unlimited spending should not be allowed in politics. Kind of funny coming from you, but whatever. Electoral college should be eliminated. Felon voting, restore voting rights after prison. Supports nuclear power. End new, okay, basically same as Amy on that. Tax carbon emissions. Okay. Carbon tax bullshit. Farm economy. Strengthen enforcement, but stop short of trust. Same as Amy.
So once again, just allow the big, giant fucking mega farms to gobble up small producers. And
he's the same as Amy on that one. As the pay farmers to adopt. Okay, yeah. Expand farm worker protections, but no specific plans for USDA civil rights. All right. Assault weapons. Support a voluntary buyback program.
Toothless.
Background checks in favor of universal background checks. Weapon registry in favor of a gun licensing program. Abortion, few limits, if any. Rethink the whole system. What is that? Oh, he wants to do his Medicare for all who want it plan. That's right. Drug costs, importation, and patent breaking.
Same thing.
Medicare for all. Opposes Medicare for all, but would expand coverage. Sure. DACA, citizenship for dreamers. Illegal entry, repeal the statute. Transportation, pay for infrastructure through changing taxes on corporations, the wealthy. Legalize marijuana. Scrap past pot convictions. Boost the defense budget. Okay.
So I like how they're in verse here. So
bring
she
the
wants
troops
to cut
home.
The
though.
budget. She's like Klobuchar is saying, let's cut the budget,
but keep the troops where they are.
Keep the troops deployed. He's saying
boost the budget, but bring the troops home. What?
Well, let's read. I
want to read his. Yeah, I want to read this the other Democrat.
So nothing really there.
Okay, nothing.
Anything about him on the other one?
Just more money for the fucking reverse 2017 corporate cut.
Yes, that's already more progressive.
Tax credit, expand the EITC.
The earned income tax credit stays the same as Klobuchar.
Taxing the wealthy, increase existing taxes on upper-income Americans. Rural broadband, dedicate open-ended federal funding to support rural broadband. Okay.
That's more progressive than Amy's position as well.
Sure is. Tech competition and antitrust, we need to empower federal regulators first. What does that mean? Seems no one else agrees with that. Pete Buttigieg has argued that before they can even contemplate breakups, enforcers at the Federal Trade Commission and Department of Justice need to be better empowered, which may mean more resources, staff, or statutory authority. We're going to need to empower the FTC to be able to intervene, including blocking or reversing mergers in cases where there's anti-competitive behavior by tech companies. That's pretty toothless and empty.
I mean, can't they already do that? I mean, can they already be given the authority? I mean, they've broken up monopolies in this country before. Same
on China, same on USMCA, against tariffs, TPP 2.0, oppose joining CPTPP or oppose TPP. Okay. So overall, it would seem like Pete Buttigieg actually takes a few stronger positions than. I mean, he's still unmistakably a centrist piece of fucking shit, but I would say that
he's got some better takes than she does, or at least some less centrist takes than she does.
So I think the Delaney has to go to Klobuchar.
Yeah, I would say Amy's got to win the Delaney on this one. She's definitely more centrist in her
Dude,
policy.
it's a horse
positions.
race. Look at this. They're just trading back and
They're
forth.
going back and forth. So
How
now we're
about
getting to
controversies?
controversies, TJ.
See, this is a tough one to know how to judge though, because controversies are not very centrist. You know what I mean? Or is the I don't know. I guess it depends on the nature of the controversy.
We'll have to see.
This one we might have to fucking really think about.
We'll have to see.
So we're gonna start with Pete Buttigieg's controversies. I guess.
Booty. So this is Pete Buttigieg, or pitifully pathetic Pete. So after taking over as mayor of South Bend, Indiana in 2012, Pete Buttigieg made a decision that has dogged his political career ever since. He demanded the resignation of the city's first black police chief, Daryl Boykins. Image here.
So this is the chief here.
This is the chief. Amid outrage from the black community, Boykins quickly rescinded his resignation. Buttigieg instead demoted Boykins to work with the city's young people and later called his handling of the situation his, quote, first serious mistake as mayor.
Well, why did he do it?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
At the time, Buttigieg said he fired Boykins for his role in secret recording of some police phone lines, which federal investigators were looking into. So in April 2019, when Buttigieg was asked about the situation, he said at a CNN town hall, "The reason I demoted the chief was that I found out he was the subject of a criminal investigation. Not from him, but from the FBI. And it made it very hard for me to trust him as one of my own appointees. It was frustrating and painful too."
Okay.
So that's kind of like that version. Oh, okay, well, you know, I found out he was being investigated, so, you know, he didn't tell me. I had to fucking let him go. And, of course, he was ultimately just demoted.
Okay.
So this is Karen De Pepe.
De Pepe.
So Karen De Pepe has been waiting all day for a call back from Pete Buttigieg. It was March 2012, and the 30-year-old mayor of South Bend, Indiana, had just decided to replace the city's first African-American police chief over complaints he illegally wiretapped police officers' phone calls. De Pepe, who oversaw the department's phone system, wanted to talk him out of it. The phone line was recorded by mistake, and when she discovered the problem, she says she heard white police officers making racist comments. Buttigieg, who's now running for president, never called. Instead, his chief of staff rang and told her she, too, had to go. Federal prosecutors, he said, had suggested she and the chief could be indicted if they weren't removed. Karen De Pepe said she spoke 3 times with Schmid, the prosecutor who handled the investigation. She said she asked him whether she was in trouble and needed a lawyer. He said, "No, you're a witness to a complaint." After Schmuel...
Schmuel?
Yeah. Pete's
What's all
chief...
these weird names? Schmid, Schmuel. It's all these schmuzz.
It's Indiana, dude. What can I tell you?
Fucking goddamn Indiana names. What the
Pete's
fuck?
chief of staff told her she and Boykins could be indicted. She said she called Schmid, and he told her she could not... and he told her she could not quit her job. Oh, she should not quit her job.
Okay.
Boykins' lawyer, Tom Dixon, told the AP that 3 of the federal prosecutors who were in the March 23rd, 2011 meeting assured him that, as a matter of policy, the office does not involve itself in personnel decisions of local government. Dixon recalled they told him, "We just want to reiterate that we never get involved regardless of what you hear on the news."
So
Seems kind of interesting, doesn't it?
So this police chief was accused of recording police officers' phone calls. This woman said, hey, he was not recording the phone calls. That was an accident. But when we listened to these recordings, there was some racist shit.
Yeah, some racist comments
And
were
then-
being made about wanting to oust the chief, essentially.
So I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of suspicious that those phone calls were just accidentally recorded
Well,
and they happen to be, you know.
And the mayor's office and his chief of staff's the chief of staff's explanation don't add up, because what they're saying, the government basically said, if you don't fire them, then you're gone. And then they're talking to those same people who are investigating
But the
them.
federal prosecutors are like, no, we don't get involved in that shit.
Yeah, we don't tell them you have to be fired. So that was a decision made by the administration, which they tried to then pass off to, of course, you know, hey, they made us do it.
But they did.
Doesn't add up. And here's just a timeline, because this is actually a pretty... this event kind of goes on. There's a number of, like, twists and turns. So, of course...
Oh, shit.
So, of course, they discover mistakenly recording the phone calls, and she tells the chief. So, in November of the same year, this is 2011, Pete Buttigieg, 29, is elected mayor. Boykins asked De Pepe to make tapes of the recordings. This is December of 2011.
Okay.
Buttigieg is sworn in on January 1st, 2012. Mid-January of that same year, they opened their wiretapping investigation. Because basically what happened was that a bunch of these police officers complained. They said, we were being wiretapped. So on March 23rd, this is the meeting we're talking about. City officials meet with representatives from the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI who allegedly deliver a thinly veiled message that Boykins and DePepe need to go or they could be charged. So yet again, a thinly veiled message, but how do you know what's thinly veiled? I mean, so at the same time, it's just kind of going, we don't really know. Buttigieg accepts Boykins' resignation. As we know, he later went back on it after an outcry of the media and support from the local community. Local media, so this is 2013 now, local media reports the existence of recordings with officers allegedly making racist comments. April 10th, DePepe is fired. And then, of course, May 12th, it's when he comes up, his explanation is that, we have to fire them or they'll be charged. So he acts like he's being benevolent. He's saving them. Strangely enough, on May 31st of 2013, the U.S. Attorney sends letters saying no federal prosecution is warranted. In a letter to the city, he writes, our primary concern was that South Bend Police Department practice comply with federal law. So really it was just a matter of compliance, not really a serious criminal investigation. December 17, 2013, the city announces settlements with Boykins for $75,000 and $500,000 for several officers who sued the city. And Buttigieg and the city settled with DePepe for $235,000. Kind of interesting how they would settle if they were just doing them a favor.
Right.
It's kind of interesting how this all played out. Kind of fishy.
Oh, Shadow.
Shadow. What we know about Shadow, acronym, and the Iowa caucuses. If your time is short, which our time is short, Buttigieg's campaign paid Shadow $42,500 for, quote, software rights and subscriptions. They had no role in the app used by the Iowa Democratic Party.
They just gave money to it. They expected nothing in return. They were just doing it to be helpful.
Some misinformation was spread that said that Pete Buttigieg funded the creation of the app.
Well, he partially did.
I mean, that money, he gave money to the company that made the app.
But he didn't hire them to make the app, is what it's being said. And people claim that he directly paid for the app to be made. And there's no proof of that. But there is obviously definitely proof from the FEC that they've made this very large payment to this company. And also, not only them, the Nevada Democratic Party also made a large payment to them as well.
Right.
If you scroll down a little bit, we can read a little bit more about it. So we know what happened in Iowa. There was an issue with the results coming out. You can scroll past that because everyone's already heard about that. So what is Shadow? The app used by the state party was built for a for-profit technology company called Shadow Inc. According to its website, Shadow's mission is to build political power for the progressive movement by developing affordable and easy-to-use tools. One of them, called LightRail, is described as a data integration automation tool to help organize data. Get voter, volunteer, and donor data where it needs to go with just a few clicks. Apparently not, huh? So let's go down. Who owns Shadow? The Shadow team is made up of a campaign and technology veterans who've built and implemented technology at Google, Apple, and didn't those companies give Pete Buttigieg a lot of money? And the Democratic National Committee, working on the campaigns for Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, according to Shadow's website. Shadow started as Groundbase, according to the Los Angeles Times, a tech developer co-funded by Gerard Namiria and Krista Davis, who worked for the tech team on Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign.
Wow.
Oh, man. Don't you just love it? And what is Acronym? So in January 2019, Acronym acquired Groundbase. That's when we get Force got Shadow. Acronym is a democratic nonprofit that aims to advance progressive causes. You can access Shadow's
I feel like
website.
I need one of those fucking goddamn...
It's a web.
Detective fucking walls with all the fucking little strings pointing to different... This is connected to this, and this is the fuck... Yeah.
Very closely tied in with the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign and big tech.
Shocking.
You can access Shadow's website from Acronyms by clicking on a link about equipping progressive campaigns with organizing and data tools to win. After acquiring Groundbase in 2019, Acronym tweeted, "We've acquired SMS tool Groundbase and are launching Shadow, a company focused on building the technology infrastructure needed to enable Democrats to run better, more efficient campaigns."
Thank God.
So reporting on the acquisition at the time, Politico said the Acronym would, quote, launch Shadow, a tech company that will operate Groundbase and other products.
Sweet.
But amid the Iowa caucus meltdown, Acronym seems to be distancing itself from Shadow, which is kind of strange because they own Shadow. The New York Times reported that Acronym sent a statement. It was a separate entity from Shadow. They're still waiting around to hear about what happened.
Oh, no, wait, what? Huh?
We don't know nothing about that company that we completely own.
TechCrunch reported the language on Acronym's About page changed from saying in January 2019, it, quote, launched Shadow, a tech company focused on enabling organizers to run smarter campaigns, to its current language saying that the nonprofit invested in Shadow.
Got it.
Acronym's founder and CEO, Kara McGowan, worked on Obama's 2012 presidential campaign, tweeted on February 4th that Shadow is, quote, an independent company Acronym invested in.
Independent.
Even though they acquired it.
Yeah.
Even though that Acronym acquired Shadow.
Of course, and...
Well, let's ask ourselves, how is Pete Buttigieg involved? This is
Yeah.
the real question.
That's
here.
the real question here. But obviously we had to kind of go through that web first. So even though the caucus results were delayed, Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg was trying...
Buttigieg.
Democratic candidate Pete Buttigieg didn't go.
Mayor Poot. Why haven't we thought of this before?
My fucking flub is great, dude.
Mayor Poot.
Really, a flub will do that for you.
That word is the funniest word in the English language. I pooted.
Poot Buttigieg was triumphant, tweeting early in the morning on February 4th that he was heading to New Hampshire victorious.
Cool.
Later that day, during an interview with MSNBC, something about Poot, he seemed to temper that announcement, saying that the campaign was reviewing internal numbers and beginning to realize something extraordinary had happened.
Yeah.
Here you have a campaign
It's a miracle.
that was really questioned when we got in for whether we ought to be here, whether we belonged in this race, and to not only establish that, but to reach the position that we did was a clear victory for our campaign. I love political speak, dude. It's a
Beautiful.
victory to get where they even got. Yeah, okay. On social media, some users started to speculate that when they interpreted it as a victory announcement was a sign of corruption. Conspiracy theories began to spread that the election had been rigged in Buttigieg's favor because of the connection to Shadow. Some claims, such as the Iowa caucus that was funded by Buttigieg, mischaracterize what we know. Buttigieg's campaign, Pete for America, paid Shadow $40,000. We already know that. Sean Savitt, a spokesman for the campaign, told PolitiFact that they contracted with Shadow for text messaging services to help them contact voters. It was totally unrelated to the app Shadow built for the caucuses, he said. Buttigieg's campaign wasn't involved in the app's development.
Sure.
It's just so interesting how
I buy it.
all these people that are super politically connected, and there's a web connecting all of them, all put money into this obscure company owned by an operative of a former operative of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama's
I've seen
campaigns.
anyone who believes anything
certainly the
untoward
Barack
is going on there is a conspiracy nut.
It was just an oopsie, guys. It was just a whoopsie daisy, and don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It was just an oops. Just
Oopsie-daisy.
totally unrelated.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Who cares?
Not a big deal.
Things happen.
There's not a conflict of interest at work here at all.
Oh, I love this video. This is fun. We ready for this?
We're ready for this.
What matters about a black life to you, Mayor Pete? What matters about a black life to you? Answer that.
This guy was shot. That's the cop that shot him.
Can you say to us today, in front of all these cameras, that black
This is
lives
last year,
matter?
2019.
Did you ask me if Black Lives Matter?
Yes,
we wanna
yes,
hear you
Black
say it.
lives matter.
Of course, Black Lives Matter.
Then fire your car.
So, basically, this guy was responding to a call about breaking into cars. He claims that Logan lunged him with a knife when he approached the car.
Lunge!
So this 50-year-old guy came at him with a knife. Conveniently, O'Neill did not have his body camera turned on.
That just,
You know what's great? Just pause this. It's so great. The one thing that could have exonerated you, and if that's what would have happened, if you had your body cam on, which it should always be on if you're on duty, would have exonerated you.
Yeah, it would have shown him lunging at you with a knife, and everyone would have been like, oh, well, I mean, he had no choice.
I don't know why it's in the police officer's control to turn on and off this body cam at all.
It makes no sense.
As soon as they start duty for the day, before they get in their car, that thing should be on and running.
And you know what's crazy, Paul, is that a number of cops have been proven to be innocent against false allegations because, surprise, surprise, they had a body cam. But you know what else happened? A lot of cops have been found to be guilty of planting drugs and other bad shit when their body cam was on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a case of, like, if you're a good cop who's just going about your day, this can do nothing but help you, because all it's going to do is confirm your story about what happened. And if you're a shit cop, you have every reason to reach up and turn that fucking thing off before you go do something. So, I don't. What's the point of having body cams if these cops can just reach and decide when to turn them on and off and shit? Fuck that.
It makes no sense. Don't even like. Why would you even have it? It's like, it's like when these cops go around with dash cams, they turn those off all the time. No, I've never heard about a dash cam getting turned off ever.
Sometimes they get lost.
Yeah.
It's lost.
Dash cam footage is pretty similar to this.
The dash cam footage was corrupted, and we lost that.
Reason for that officer had his body cam on. Point blank.
Yeah, thank you.
The city's body cam policy reportedly allows officers the ability to turn off their cams instead of recording automatically.
That policy makes no
Which
sense.
that defeats the entire purpose of having a body cam.
Whoops.
Any cop whose body cam mysteriously is turned off when they're accused of some shit like this should just be assumed fucking guilty.
How do we even know that he was even wearing the camera, and how do we even know that they just didn't delete the fucking footage?
We don't.
Yeah, so I mean, I take the story with a huge grain of salt to even believe the camera was turned off. And maybe it was.
Because, I mean, if this guy, if there was a real, like, lunge with a knife fucking incident, then yeah, the shooting was fucking justified.
Yeah.
If someone lunges at you with a knife and you're a cop and you have a split second to react, you're totally justified to use fucking lethal force in that situation because you're protecting your fucking life.
And the one thing that could have answered that question, without a shadow of a doubt, the evidence that we could have used to just make that determination is simply not there.
It's just turned off.
It was turned off.
The policy was approved by the Board of Safety. I do not know who drafted it, but I believe that it was drawn from model policies from around the country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So why didn't you immediately call for the policy to be rescinded? Yeah, there's another thing. He was taken to the hospital in a police car, not an ambulance.
What's the standard procedure for transporting a gunshot wound victim to a hospital?
Says Buttigieg agreed to an outside investigation of the shooting. Sergeant O'Neill is reportedly on paid administrative leave, paid vacation.
Sure, he's back on the job by now.
Oh, he almost certainly is.
Yeah, I didn't hear about him being fired. So
By Friday of next week, and based on data, get the racists off the streets. It's disrespectful that I wake up every day scared. It's disrespectful that I have 3 boys that I have to teach today what to do. Get them off the streets.
If anyone who is on patrol.
Why does this guy have 0% black support again?
I wonder.
What was the reason?
yeah, I really wonder.
Is shown to be a racist or to do something racist in a way that is substantiated, that is their last day on the street.
Uh-huh.
Any cop that does any kind of law enforcement without his body cam on, that should be their last day on the street.
TYT actually broke us. If you go back a little bit, TJ.
Okay.
Just a smidgen.
Substantiated, that is their last day on the street.
So documents unearthed by the TYT show, Sergeant O'Neill had a long history, or has a long history, of accusations of racist comments and behavior.
As the mayor of the city, I want to acknowledge that those last 2 lines of effort, the effort to recruit more minority officers.
And if you're wondering the ratio, the city is about 24% black, and about 6% of its police officers are black.
Right.
And the effort to introduce body cameras.
Why introduce them?
And I accept responsibility for that.
And of course, it's just the same
Right,
story.
just a recap.
Yeah,
of
it's a
the,
recap of when he fired
the firing of the police chief.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Good stuff. I like it. Looks good.
These are the major controversies he has been involved in. There's also another one about his Douglas plan, which is a plan for black people that he claimed had supporters who actually, in fact, were one of them was actually a Bernie supporter.
Okay.
So he's actually straight up lied about. So like he really has struggled with black support. I think you can see why. He doesn't have much of a connection, even his own city, to the black community. He's made a number of decisions that obviously have upset that community. And at most has just given them kind of like, well, if this guy is proven to be substantiated to be a racist, And then TYT goes and basically proves, like, yep, he pretty much was a racist. Nothing happened.
Well, these black people like to complain.
Yeah, they just want to complain.
Oh, it's that company you said was coming up again.
Medtronic. TJ.
Medtronic. What's that about?
So now we're moving on to Amy Klobuchar.
Okay.
So Klobuchar voted for the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act in December 2009 and the Healthcare and Education Reconciliation Act of 2010. In December 2012, she advocated to, quote, repeal or reduce the tax on medical devices included in the Affordable Care Act, as it would be harmful to businesses in her state. Despite this, on September 30th, 2013, Klobuchar voted to remove a provision that would repeal the medical device tax from a government funding bill in opposition to the provision being used as a condition to keep the government open. In January 2015, Klobuchar was one of 17 senators to co-sponsor S-149, a bill to retroactively repeal the device excise tax. She has said the medical device tax threatens jobs, although her statements have been questioned by investigative journalists. Medtronic spent more than any other medical device company to lobby against the device tax in 2014, with Klobuchar as one of Medtronic's top recipients of Political Action Committee donations.
So this is just business as usual.
Yeah, I mean, this is just
hey, this company gave her a shit ton of money.
So
she did what they told her to.
A number of the top CEOs in the state have given her money. She has acted, and some of them, in the case of Hubert Broadcasting.
Right, she acts in the interest of whatever, we
and
saw
Polaris, who makes snowmobiles and four-wheels and all that shit.
We saw that Medtronic was one of her top campaign contributors.
Even now.
Yeah, even to this day, even for a presidential run. And I'm sure they, obviously she has a business relationship, a political financing relationship. But, she's doing what's in their best interest, not what's in the best interest of the fucking people.
To say that she's any different than any of those politicians who are corrupt is just laughable. When you have something like
this. So
this
is just another example of a politician doing the bidding of their fucking donors and not the voters.
Yes.
It's pretty standard stuff, unfortunately.
Now we're going to crime, because she was a prosecutor.
Okay.
So Klobuchar was Hennepin County's top prosecutor from 1999 to 2006.
Right.
The year she was elected to the U.S. Senate. She has faced criticism on the campaign trail for aggressively pursuing drug prosecutions that disproportionately impact black and brown communities, and for declining to prosecute a number of controversial police shootings.
Okay.
In 2002, for example, Klobuchar declined to prosecute 6 police officers who shot a mentally ill Somali man who was walking down the street wielding a machete and a crowbar.
Okay.
Violence was a dark feature of law enforcement in Minnesota's county over 20 years ago. Amy Klobuchar basically saw this firsthand in some of the decisions she made. So over 8 years, beginning in 1999, the city of Minneapolis paid $4.8 million in legal settlements related to 122 police misconduct incidents, and the police officers and county sheriffs were involved in 29 civilian deaths.
Okay.
Klobuchar, however, chose not to criminally charge any fatalities involving law enforcement. Instead, she routinely put the decision to a grand jury, a process widely criticized for its secrecy and for mostly allowing the police version of events. Klobuchar also didn't take any on any of the misconduct claims. So far, just a total friend of the police, whatever the police version is. Yep. As prosecutor, she was able to make a decision whether or not to prosecute, but she went to a grand jury, which got a one-sided version of events, which is basically the police version. Like, the officer defended himself. Good enough for us. No charges. The mother of a black teenager who was shot and killed by police in 2004 begged Klobuchar to file charges against the officer instead of presenting the case to a grand jury. The grand jury is a way of hiding that the prosecutor is not giving the full information of guilt to the grand jury. Tahisha Williams Brewer wrote to Klobuchar at the time, "I want this process out in the open where everyone can observe it and make sure that it is fair to my son." Klobuchar did not directly respond to Williams Brewer and proceeded to present the case to a grand jury, which found the shooting was justified.
As they universally.
Which, even though, by the way, the coroner ruled that it was a homicide. They just said it was a justifiable homicide.
So basically, just a friend of the cops.
I love the cops.
Just does whatever the cops have done is right. There's no way that any cop anywhere has ever done anything wrong. There's no point. Look, even if it turns out that every single one of these shootings was justified, there's no fucking excuse for doing for hiding the proceeding, for hiding it behind this grand jury
secret
bullshit.
Grand jury each time.
Yeah. Oh, well, we can't. The process can't be open and transparent. We have to do it behind closed doors in secrecy. No, fuck you. if the shooting was really justified,
then it should be
then
obvious.
demonstrate it fucking publicly to the fucking satisfaction of everyone.
Yeah, why not? Makes sense, doesn't it? You know, in the legal center, it's beyond a reasonable doubt.
You know what my response to that is, TJ?
What?
Let's see how your hair fares in a blizzard.
I love it.
So, as she campaigns for president, Klobuchar has been touting her record as a prosecutor. At campaign stops and media interviews, she typically says she does her job without fear or favor.
Uh-huh.
As a U.S. Senator, and did so too as a Hennepin County attorney. However, the disproportionate number of minorities sent to state prison isn't a campaign talking point. Nearly 2/3 of Hennepin County residents sent to state prison by Klobuchar or her deputies were African American, according to data from the Minnesota Department of Corrections. That came during a period where African Americans made up about 10% of the county's population, according to the U.S. Census data.
Well, black people is just too criminal.
Yeah, that must be it. Teresa Nelson, with the American Civil Liberties Union of Minnesota, said Klobuchar showed no interest in improving racial justice issues or prosecuting police misconduct. I don't know that I've ever really heard her really talking about race and mass incarceration and the racial disparities that we have here in Minnesota and around the country in our criminal justice system, Nelson said. She and others say Klobuchar needs to explain her record as a prosecutor and whether racial equity in the criminal justice system would become a priority as if she became president.
Hint. No.
So it's another nice little tidbit. During Klobuchar's campaign for prosecutor in 1998, Minneapolis police union leaders enthusiastically supported her during her campaign kickoff. The union backed her in that year and in 2002. Records of how much money the union spent on Klobuchar's behalf in those races no longer exist.
I'm going to guess it was a lot.
Friend of the police always from the very beginning. And this is where she doesn't know the...
oh, this is fun.
Who the president of Mexico is, or their name, or anything about them, really.
Play, bitch. Play.
If it'll ever fucking play.
Doesn't want to play.
Los tres precandidatos presentes conversaron con Noticias Telemundo sobre varios temas, pero sorprendentemente al hablar de México mostraron conocimientos muy distintos del país y de su líder.
Do you know his name? I forgot.
Tom Steyer dijo no recordar el nombre del mandatario, mientras que Amy Klobuchar dijo que sabe quién es el presidente de México, pero admitió no saber su nombre.
But can you tell me his name?
No. Pete Buttigieg fue el único que pudo nombrar a Obrador.
Can you tell me who the president of Mexico is?
Yeah, President López Obrador, I hope.
Además agregó que...
Oh, shit.
He said, I hope.
I hope.
So it was kind of... But here's this other one. If you want to go down, you see how clueless she is. Go back.
Oh, okay. Here?
Yeah, that one.
Well, what I will tell you is that I will visit Mexico in the first 100 years. 100 days.
100 days.
I will
in
100 years.
Are running for president.
Yes.
You would like to be the
Yes.
Democratic candidate.
Yes.
What do you know about the Mexican president now?
Well, I know that he is elected in the last few years. I don't know him personally. I've met with the ambassador, and I was actually supportive of the trade agreement. So I worked with the embassy on that. They came to meet with me.
And I ask because it's so important, especially Nevada, California, Arizona, Texas. This is our neighbor to the south.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about him? Specifically his politics, what he's doing, since this would be the country you would share a border with? Anything you can tell me about him?
I know that they are neighbors, and regardless of who the leader is, that it is someone that I will work with.
Do you? I'm sorry to ask,
so
but
no.
do you know who he is? Do you know his name?
Yeah. I know that he is the Mexican president.
But can you tell me? His name?
I know he's the Mexican president.
Don't you think it would be important if you're?
Do you know the Mexican president's name? I know he's the Mexican president.
I know that he's a president down there in Mexico.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So let's go to our last major controversy here, TJ.
Okay.
Man, these two just don't get along with black people. Amy Klobuchar helped jail teen for life, but case was flawed. This is some reporting done by the Associated Press. A record has come under particular scrutiny as the Associated Press published a year-long investigation suggesting that in prosecuting the case of a little girl who was shot and killed by a stray bullet, Klobuchar sent an innocent 16-year-old to prison for life. In fact, Klobuchar boasted about Mayan Burrell's conviction in an ad for a 2006 Senate campaign. Now, I looked for that. I couldn't find it, unfortunately. In response to AP's reporting, the Klobuchar campaign said that Burrell was tried and convicted twice for the murder, and his second trial took place after Klobuchar left for office for the Senate. If there was new evidence, she said, it should be reviewed by the court, immediately reviewed by the court. Following AP's investigation, the foreman of the jury of the case said he regrets his vote to convict. So this is something she's done throughout her political career. She's told the story that, about how she helped get justice for this little girl. An 11-year-old girl was killed by a stray bullet while doing homework in her dining room table in 2002. And Klobuchar's office put Taisha Edwards' killer, Mayan Burrell, behind bars for life. So it's like this big story like, you know what? This guy did this horrible thing, but Amy Klobuchar stood up and sent him to prison for life, took him off the streets. Just a really big if, though, here is, what if he's actually innocent? So the case...
He's not.
The case relied heavily on a teen rival of Burrell's who gave conflicting accounts when identifying the shooter, who was largely obscured behind a wall 120 feet away. So you identified this guy as the shooter, who was obscured behind a wall 120 feet away.
They needed My Cousin Vinny on this one. So you saw the two Utes through this grit, through this dirty, rusty screen, through these bushes.
It gets worse than that, Paul. With no other eyewitnesses, police turned to multiple jailhouse snitches. Some have since recanted, saying they were coached or coerced. Others were given reduced time, raising questions about their credibility. I don't know why would you do that?
I don't have any questions.
And the lead homicide detective offered major dollars for names, even if it was hearsay. There's actually a video of that. I didn't pull it just because there's so much. There was no gun, fingerprints, or DNA. Alibis were never seriously pursued. Key evidence is either gone missing or was never obtained, including a convenience store surveillance tape that Burrell and others say would have cleared him.
So he was just railroaded, basically.
Oh, totally.
It's like, yeah, he'd done it.
I mean, maybe he did do it, but in the investigation of this, they just basically railroaded the guy.
He had two other people here with him at this convenience store that when they heard the shots on camera, they never pulled the tape.
Wow.
So he's pretty much he's innocent.
Yeah.
He didn't even do
Burrell,
it.
now 33, has maintained his innocence, rejecting all plea deals. Now, it gets even worse than this guy's. His co-defendants, meanwhile, have admitted their part in Taisha's death. Burrell, they say, was not even there. For years, one of them, Ike Tyson, has insisted...
Ike Tyson, huh?
Yeah. Not Mike, Ike.
Ike.
Has insisted he was actually the triggerman. Police and prosecutors refused to believe him, pointing to the contradictory account in the early days of the investigation. Now, he swears he was just trying to get the police off his back. I already shot innocent girls, said Tyson, who was serving a 45-year sentence. Now an innocent guy, at the time he was a kid, is locked up for something he didn't do. So it's like I'm carrying two burdens.
So he's still in jail? He's still locked up
Yes,
for this?
He's locked up for life.
Oh, I wonder if President Trump might get around to pardoning this guy.
And there's another guy who's basically saying, I did this. This guy's innocent. No, you told he had conflicting accounts. This guy's definitely guilty.
Got it.
Okay.
Now it's time to decide.
Fuck.
Who gets a Delaney?
Up until that thing, I was going to give it to, I was going to say fucking Pete, but I mean, I don't know. In light of that, I really got to say.
I think Amy gets this one.
Amy gets it.
Yeah.
Which means she wins.
Yeah.
Because that.
Yeah, she can't lose.
She can't lose now.
But hey, maybe.
But I guess we could still. See how decisive her victory is.
Is she the dominant bland centrist, or is it a little bit of a closer race?
All right. Well, the next question up for offer is whose campaign website is the most innocuous, I guess?
No, it's go to what does the category say, TJ?
Yeah, what's the next?
That's not
next
what I
category?
wrote. Whose website is more vague, vapid, and verily I say full of shit?
Okay. Well, that's just, whatever. That's the same thing.
That's my fuck you. That's my category. Don't fucking change it to what's more innocuous.
Okay.
Go ahead. Open the first one, TJ.
Well, I don't know what all this shit is. What is this? Okay.
This is Mayor Pete's website here.
All right. So this
Mayor
is
Poot.
Pete. This is Mayor Poot. Mayor Poot 2020.
Pete for America.
This is our shot to galvanize an American majority to defeat this president and send Trumpism into the dustbin of history.
And I will say this. His site is Pete for America. Amy's site is amyklobuchar.com. But the first thing you see if you go to her website is Amy for America. Okay. That's a big thing for these campaigns. We're for America.
Okay, I see it. Medicare for all who want it.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. A bold approach to healthcare.
So bold.
So, yeah, I really like this.
Get out of here, Pete.
Yeah, we're not giving you any money. So Medicare for All provides universal access and affordable coverage. Medicare for all who want it. No, that's not true. So number one is already false.
So provides universal access to affordable coverage. Okay, there should be an X here.
Yeah, that's an X.
Under all who want it, actually. Yeah. So
it's just basically it's the bold position of going back to fucking 2008 where there was a public option. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, so let's see. Paid for by rolling back Trump tax cuts.
Why wouldn't Medicare for all be paid for by similar increasing of the tax burden on the?
It just won't.
It just won't. It just
preserves Medicare Advantage for 22 million seniors and people with disabilities.
Yeah, you're right. Medicare for all doesn't do that because it actually expands all those things. So you're right.
It doesn't preserve it in exactly the ramshackle state that it is now.
It actually makes it way better. It covers more things.
Allows you to make your own choices, whether that's private insurance or the public option. That's true.
I guess that's true.
Medicare for all doesn't let you do that.
As John Oliver described it, it's the shit sandwich or the shit sandwich with guac.
Well, as I understand it, though, passing Medicare for all wouldn't abolish private insurance, would it? So there shouldn't be an X there either.
Yeah, you could still have
if you've got the money and you want to make the choice to have private insurance, you could still do it under Medicare for all.
Right. No one would because it'd be stupid.
So these check marks are all fucked up, Pete.
Forces insurance companies to compete and improve.
Yeah. One destroys them.
Yeah. Well, Medicare for all actually, I mean, it doesn't, I guess, officially abolish insurance companies, but it basically does.
For primary care insurance, it basically does.
Yes.
It gets rid of it. Yeah, no, supplementary things, sure, that will still exist. I mean, travel insurance is going to be abolished by fucking Medicare for all.
So this is a weird checklist here, but whatever. It's kind of
Medicare for all who want it.
I want to hear Pete
let's hear
explain.
Pete's fucking bullshit.
I trust Americans to make our own decisions regarding the type of health care that makes the most sense for each of us and our families.
Okay, then support Medicare for all so that they can make whatever choice they want.
You know what's interesting, TJ, is in 2018, before he started running, he was actually a supporter for Medicare for all.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't it just great? All want
Hi,
it.
I'm Pete Buttigieg, and I know that getting health.
I want to create a system that keeps the terrible insurance industry intact so that they can continue to fuck America.
Well, all the Affordable Care Act, when people talk about, like, and Klobuchar talks about this too. Well, we'll get to that. Let's watch this.
I mean,
care in America is too expensive, too complicated, and too frustrating.
But I want to preserve that system.
Our system is critical.
You're not going to fix
the system.
the
This is why,
system.
over the next few months, I'm releasing a policy series.
No, you're a fucking moron. You're not going to fix anything about the system. The only thing you want to do is create a public option to compete with the fucking broken system and create a fucking two-tiered system that's going to suck.
What he's basically argued,
you're going to make it more complicated, you fucking retard.
What he's argued is that we'll make this public option so good that people are going to want to join it. And it's basically like it's kind of like a gilded path or a glide path, I think is what he's called it. Like, look, people, because it's going to be so much better and cheaper and cover more stuff, people are going to be an idiot not to take the public option.
Healthcare in America is too complex and convoluted and expensive, which is why I want to support it at all costs. I want to keep it just the way it is.
Actually, further complicated with more choice. Not even really give you a real choice.
That's going to address
more choice,
several
but less
aspects of our
choice.
healthcare system from all angles. The centerpiece is Medicare for all who want it.
It makes no sense. How is this delivering universal health care?
It's not.
You can buy into a public option, so people who are poor still can't afford it. And what's to say those costs are going to be kept low? What's going to cap the cost of this
Nothing.
insurance? There's nothing. There's no cost control measures.
It doesn't have any and it has no bargaining power like Medicare for all would. This is just a stupid half measure that doesn't make any sense. If anything, I mean, like, I guess this might be marginally better than the system we have, but probably not. It'd probably just be more complicated, more rigmarole, more bureaucratic red tape bullshit.
I mean, you can imagine that if he's already this far to the center on this, that by the time it becomes a passable bill, it's going to be gutted just like Obamacare was.
Obamacare 2, electric boogaloo.
Well, we now have a more subsidy plan. So, yeah, we're going to increase subsidies.
All right,
it's
what
going to be
else
some
we got
fucking
here?
lukewarm bullshit.
Shop the latest gear.
I'll tell you the most standout thing about his site, TJ. Well, not even this. They all sell this shit. Was they have Ask Pete.
Okay.
You can ask Pete something,
I want to
TJ.
ask Pete.
If you go to the sidebar on the left there.
Where is it?
At the top left of your screen.
Here?
Yes, there, TJ. Ask. Oh,
Meet Pete, issues.
I think if you go to issues.
Issues, huh?
What the fuck is it? Oh yeah, there it is. Bottom. Ask Pete.
Ask Pete.
Oh, so it's just like a searchable database where he's talking about whatever you type in.
Which I give him credit for that.
In there.
Which I give him credit for at least having a database where you can look at it.
War.
Not that I believe anything. When are we getting out of Afghanistan? So more empty promises.
Okay, troop withdrawal. Okay, good stuff. Got a bunch of issues here. LGBTQ rights.
I mean,
I am against them.
I hope he's in favor of them.
I'm tired of these damn queers.
These queers are advancing too far in our society.
Meet Pete. I want to meet him. How do I meet him?
Join the movement, TJ.
You gotta buy your way into the wine cave, TJ.
Damn it. Quit fucking... God damn it, you piece of shit.
Go back up. Go back up.
Let's meet Pete.
Is that Pete's mom still? Oh,
that's Pete's mom. They're like lifting him up, dude, to make him look taller.
Yeah.
Pete's like, I gotta look taller, guys.
Are you with him? This black girl isn't.
Yeah, she's probably not with him at all.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
That's creepy.
This is insipid.
Stop doing this, Pete Buttigieg supporters. Do not carry around giant pictures of Pete Buttigieg.
They have the worst color of those shirts. Those shirts, like, Bernie has this nice blue color. They have this fucking, like, disgusting yellow.
Extremism. I want to know what he thinks of extremism. Yeah. Where is it? Where's the extremism? Tell me about extremism, Pete. God damn you. All right, fuck this. Where else is there? Housing justice, bullshit. The toolkit, supporter toolkit. Let's see what we get.
Social media downloads, coalition signs.
We get
cool.
phone wallpapers.
Oh, man, I got to get me a Pete Buttigieg phone wallpaper.
You get a fucking coalition sign. You get a button. You get a sticker.
Life-size cutout, dude.
Oh, my God, yes.
How much?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
yeah, dude.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you get the giant head. Or you can get the full-size Pete to stand around with you.
How do you get it? What does it cost?
I don't know.
We got to get it, dude. How the fuck do we get the life-size Pete?
I want the Pete Buttigieg head for my bedroom.
Check out the thumbnails below to print your own life-size cutout.
What?
Oh, you got to print
them
your
out?
own.
Oh, that's fucked up, dude.
Okay. I don't know how you do that.
You got to click on one.
All right.
And it's going to give you the... Yeah, that's probably the...
I don't like it. I'm scared.
Print it out.
What's this?
Now I know what I'm getting you for Christmas or your birthday coming up here, TJ.
So, TJ, this is actually...
Pete Buttigieg's head.
Our closing video for Pete.
Okay, so we're going to close with this video?
Yep, so start this at 450.
Okay. It's pretty much already there.
We can talk about everything that went well and why, and what we learned when things did not.
Ideological purity. Some people have put that label on Bernie Sanders. But the moderates in the Democratic Party who are searching, you've got a lot of competition. It's Amy Klobuchar. It's virtually everybody else in the campaign. How do you distinguish yourself?
Well, I think the way that we have advanced to the front of that group is by offering a vision that's not just clear in terms of policy, but establishing the sense of belonging in our campaign that reflects the belonging we want to build in the country as a whole. And let's be clear, the ideas that I'm putting forward are bold ideas. They would make me the most progressive president we've had in a half century. But I'm also building them in a way that is inclusive. This is not the time for a politics of my way or the highway. If your only choices are between a revolution and a status quo, that's a vision that leaves most Americans out. And I think challenging that vision with a more inclusive one is how we have been able to get the results that we had both in Iowa and New Hampshire across different age groups, different kinds of communities. Now we take that message forward.
This is exactly the time for a my way or the highway approach. This country needs to be taken back from the moneyed interests that have ruined it and run it into the ground and fucking allowed its infrastructure to fester and allow people to go without fucking medical care that they absolutely need. Now, this is definitely a time for somebody who's going to stand up and not worry about being inclusive to people who are regressive.
Communism.
I think it's just so interesting. That's why I pulled this, and this was like really the last thing I want, because it's like this is really Pete's vision. It's like, look, anyone says it, like, I mean, he really just says it. Like, I'm the status quo. You can have the status quo, and maybe a little bit. You know, I'm gonna have a few sprinklings of progressive shit. Or you can have someone like crazy like Bernie Sanders who's going to run the country into the ground, going to run into the toilet.
Leading from the heartland.
Ugh, I already hate this one more.
Amy from America. For America, sorry. Amy's story.
Let's go to Amy's story.
Amy Klobuchar has always been guided by the values she learned growing up in Minnesota. Her grandfather worked
1,500 feet underground in the iron ore mines of northern Minnesota.
Like, I just love this.
Her father, Jim, was a newspaper man, and her mother, Rose, was an elementary school teacher who taught second grade until she was 70. Amy's daughter, Abigail, was sick when she was born. Even though Abigail was in intensive care, Amy was discharged from the hospital after just 24 hours because of insurance rules. She took that experience and became the leading advocate for the successful passage of one of the first laws in the country guaranteeing 48-hour hospital stays for new moms and their babies.
What a bold stance. Instead of actually going for universal health care, now you can stay in the hospital for an extra day. Good job.
Amy was the Hennepin County Attorney, the largest prosecutor's office in Minnesota for 8 years.
And put innocent people away and never prosecuted police.
Her Safe Schools initiative, community prosecution efforts, and criminal justice reforms earned national awards from both the Bush and Clinton Justice Departments. She worked with the Innocence Project to advocate for videotaped interrogations across the country, as well as innovative eyewitness processes to protect against false identifications.
Think about how laughable that statement is in light of what we know. In light of what we know.
Ugh. Amy.
Well, I want to talk about her stance on healthcare, too.
I want to... Amy's first 100 days.
We can look at that, too.
That looks fucking interesting. We can do healthcare. Where's healthcare?
It's actually the number 2 issue. We can look at the 100 days after that.
What the fuck is this?
The hell is this?
It goes to another site.
Well, we can look at this. We're already here.
But it's linked to on her site, so whatever. Her first 100 days. Let's see. This is what she's going to do.
Get shit done, dude.
Get the United States back in the International Climate Agreement on day 1.
Yeah.
We need we need a half measure now.
That middling agreement that was made that most countries will probably blow by and ignore anyways. Here we go.
Get us back in that.
Get us back in that toothless climate deal. Yes, now.
Strengthen the Affordable Care Act yet again.
Immediately suspend the Trump administration's effort to eliminate the Affordable Care Act's protection. Yeah, save the Affordable Care Act.
Save those insurance companies.
Rebuild our relationship with our allies and restore America's standing. Awesome. Immediately allow for the safe importation of prescription drugs from countries like Canada. Or here's an idea. How about we just negotiate better prices for the drugs here so we don't have to import them from other fucking places?
That would piss off the big pharma industry, though, TJ.
Fill judicial vacancies by nominating well-qualified judges.
I have no doubt you would do that because she's such a fucking centrist. She'd probably nominate conservatives as well as liberals.
Revive the aggressive protection of voting rights. Okay? Prioritize cybersecurity and protect our elections.
Well, we know she stands on that. She wants to fucking give you a couple fucking pennies so the companies can basically exploit your data.
Update the standards for reviewing both horizontal and vertical mergers to ensure vigorous antitrust enforcement.
Update the standards. So
Finally,
nothing.
Undertake aggressive retrospective review of mergers. Yeah. Raise the minimum wage for federal contractors to $15.
Whatever.
Expand VA health benefits for women veterans and their babies.
I got a better idea. Read the damn bill.
Jumpstart legislative negotiations for comprehensive immigration reform with the stated goal of passing in the first year.
Jumpstart. So nothing yet again.
Okay, so basically, like, this is the empty promises hour. What are you going to do? Healthcare. Let's see. Amy supports universal health care for all Americans.
That's great.
She believes the quickest way to get there is through a public option. It's the same. I mean, it's the same fucking plan.
Yep.
I don't care. Fine. Fuck you, you dumb cunt. This is enough. What's this?
This is I am a fresh face in politics, TJ.
Ugh.
We have, since the debate, we've raised over $3 million.
Suck a fucking dog turd.
That's
pretty good.
Online.
That's pretty good.
We have
yeah,
surging in the polls, and we've had record crowds at
by the way, her
all
surge
of
in the
our
polls
events,
is not really
including people
a
who
surge.
were supporting other candidates, but also people who are independent.
So
as
why?
You know,
What's
this is
happening?
a huge state.
What's happening?
Is it the issues? Is it you?
I think part of it was I stood up on that stage and I showed how I was different from some of my opponents. Maybe one of the most dramatic moments was...
I can't take it anymore.
No.
I can't take it anymore.
You gotta hear what she says.
When George Stephanopoulos asked, does anyone have a problem with a socialist leading the Democratic ticket? And I said, Bernie and I are friends, which is true. We came into the Senate, but yeah, I have a problem. But I was the only one that said it on the stage, and I think that
I don't like
launched
the real
a
progressive
thought
wing of the
process in a lot
Democratic
voters'
Party.
heads.
So
We're like, let me look at her. And so I then was able to talk about my different views. And one of the practical things where I'm really different
I'm a
here
good
in New
corporate
Hampshire
shill.
is just
I like
my
corporate
plan for
socialism,
education, big deal
personally.
in the state, which is to really connect what's going on with our economy with what's happening in our education system. That we're going to have over 1 million openings for home health care workers, over 100,000 openings for nursing
we need plenty of people to work menial jobs.
70,000
So go to
openings for
350.
electricians. We're not going to have a shortage of
we're going to hear about her.
marketing
How she's a
degrees.
fresh face, despite she's almost 60 years
We are
old.
going to have a shortage of plumbers.
Tragbo in third place now. You're going to be nipping at the heels soon of Mayor Pete Buttigieg. How do you contrast yourself with Mayor Buttigieg? In other words, you're in a similar lane, which is to say you're not for Medicare for all. You believe there ought to be an option for Medicare if you want it, but we're not going to take away your private insurance. What's the difference when a voter goes in between you and Mayor Buttigieg on policy?
Well, first of all, I would say I am also a fresh new face in politics, and that my age, 59, is the new 38.
There you go.
Okay?
There you go.
This woman has been in politics for the last 14 years. She's not a fresh face.
The second thing is I've actually gotten things done through the gridlock of Washington. I've passed over 100 bills as a lead Democrat. When you look at an opponent for Donald,
You can't pivot from fresh face to here's my long list of accomplishments.
And so what if you passed over 100 bills? Like, what are the contents of those bills? I mean, what do those bills actually do to show that you're really fighting for these progressive values that a large wing of the people you're supposed to represent in the Democratic Party want? You're not. Everything with hers is so token. She's so stunningly full of shit. It's like, oh, well, if a public option. She's like even a more watered down fucking version of someone like Buttigieg. That's why I'm like, honestly, as I did this episode, I'm glad we came to the conclusion that she is definitely deserves another Delaney.
I'm not even asking you guys. I'm just putting it there. Fuck you.
Yep. Wow. I didn't expect it to be this big of a blowout.
Yeah. She's definitely the more centrist. She's definitely the less inspiring. I mean, that's not to say that Mayor Pete isn't as bland as they fucking come.
And I mean, he had some serious controversies too, but it's just the fact that, I mean, Amy Klobuchar essentially was fucking implicit in fucking putting someone away for life and didn't really do the due diligence. And the fact that she touts on her website, I was part of working with the Innocence Project. What about the Innocence Project and the fucking fact of this guy, Mayan Burrell, who has been in fucking jail for like 20-some years now on bullshit, on circumstantial evidence, and have people literally saying, I did it, he's innocent.
Dude, we need to print out some big-ass John Delaney heads and take them to Klobuchar campaign events and hold them up so she can receive these Delaneys in person.
Here's your Delaney. So
we're presenting you with the John Delaney Award for Excellence.
So in the battle of the bland centrist candidates, Klobuchar is just, it's not even close, dude. It's not even fucking close. I mean, now Buttigieg had a few moments. His fundraising shit is definitely more shady.
Yeah.
He's definitely way...
Woo!
Clint Buttigieg.
Amy.
I'm not going to chant Amy.
Amy.
I'm not doing it.
Amy.
From the heartland, TJ.
From the heartland to my ass crack. All
Well,
right.
that's it.
That's it. Thank you for the torture episode, Scotty. Fuck you.
No problem.
Why don't you go fucking shoot yourself in the fucking face, bitch?
You do it first.
You suck. Why'd you fucking put us through that? Neither of these people have any chance of even being president. We just wasted our fucking time looking at these two fucking asshole cunt
You
motherfuckers.
never know, TJ. You never know.
Just to sour my fucking mood, huh? Blech.
I'm trying to inform people about presidential candidates
The
TJ,
end.
so they know the truth.
The end, Scotty. The
This is
end.